Hey, what's up? John Sonmez from SimpleProgrammer.com. So I just finished my run, and I thought I'd do a video about growth because I talked about this a little bit. I was thinking about doing a video about treading water, which I've already done. You can check out the video on treading water because that's sort of like a stage in growth. And I was thinking about this a lot because I'm hitting a point in my life right now where the growth, I'm not seeing the growth, it's limited. And what it is it's actually a stage of growth, but it's the most difficult stage, the one where you feel like nothing's happening, and the one where you're honestly most likely to give up. So I talked about this a little bit when I interviewed ELLIOTT. You can check out that interview. It was a pretty cool interview. We talked about a lot of stuff, but he talked about this idea of this catharsis, and I believe he got the term, or one of the things that he referred to was a book called Iron John. You can check out that book here. Not sure if I did a review on it. Might have read that before I was doing the reviews. Maybe I'll do one, a reread it or something. But man, my mouth is dry. But anyway, talking about this idea of kind of metamorphosis of growth and of going underground for a period of time, and basically, re-emerging, like kind of dying to yourself and going through this period, this catharsis, this going under period. And in any kind of serious growth period, you always have that catharsis. You always have that going under where you don't see the growth, right? And then what ends up happening is, so let's talk about the stages. So you go through a stage, like the first stage that happens is when you essentially do something that's going to trigger growth, right? So it's an investment, it's doing something that is going to cause the growth to occur. Maybe you've made a change, you've turned around something that you're doing, you've figured out, identified a problem in your life, you've decided to overcome a challenge, or maybe you're just reading and you're absorbing information, right? And so you need something that spurs the growth. Then after that spurring of growth, what happens is there's an immediate growth, right? So you achieve something, the light bulb comes on, you feel like a different person, you feel like you've grown, like you've changed, and that effect lasts for a little bit of time. And then what happens is there's a backtracking, there's a backwards progress where all of a sudden you fall back into the old habits, you fall back into the old person that you were, and you have to experience this kind of taste, this failure, right? It's the halo fading, that light disappearing. And when you hit that phase, a lot of people give up. They assume that the growth didn't work, it didn't take, they're beyond hope, they're beyond being fixed, and they give up. But if you make it through that phase and you're still holding on, what you'll find is kind of what I'd call the most frustrating stage, which is where I'm saying that I'm at right now, where you end up and you're likely to drop off, which is this stage of treading water, of no growth, of going under, of that catharsis, or when I say catharsis, catabolus, right? Where you're going under. I think I said catharsis multiple times. That's pretty funny. Anyway, so you have this catabolus moment where what you have to do is you have to hang on. You have to tread water. You feel like nothing's happening, right? And so, like, just to relate directly what I'm talking about here, I hit this point where, everything I do, I want to delete. When I make videos, I want to delete them. When I'm writing, I want to delete it. I feel like not really making progress, right? Physically, I feel like I stalled out, like I was making a lot of progress. I was just not making the progress anymore. Mentally, right, spiritually, just this kind of dead spot where it feels like nothing's happening, no real growth is occurring. But what I know is that this is a stage where what you have to do is you have to hold on, you have to tread water, because you want to all you gotta do here is ride it out. All you gotta do is tread water. Make sure you don't make backwards progress. So you keep on going to the gym, you keep on hitting your runs, you keep writing your code, you keep reading, you keep whatever it is that you're trying to do, and you're not pushing it so hard as to try to break through and make progress, because the breakthrough will come. It'll come when you're ready. So you're basically just holding up and trying not to lose the progress that you've got, not to abandon the path. You know, this is trusting the process. This is staying the course. This is holding the line. I did this video on holding the line. That's what this is. And it's difficult. It's painful. You feel like you're done. Like there's nothing coming out of this anymore. And so you want to give up. You want to stop. You don't want to tread water. You don't want to hold the line anymore because you feel like it's not going to go anywhere. But if you can make it through this, then you'll hit that final stage of growth. And that final stage of growth is where it explodes, where you see you come out of the ground and you become renewed. You know, if you look at some of my growth through, which you can watch on this YouTube channel if you've been watching for a while, you can see distinct periods where you're like, oh, man, what happened? John is just like, he's not producing very good stuff. He's like, I don't even know what's going on, right? And then all of a sudden, there's these periods. It was this metamorphosis, right? In fact, one of those periods I labeled the videos, so to have this metamorphosis, and all these things started exploding, all these things started growing. This year of 2016 had a huge amount of growth at the beginning of the year. Just these amazing things that were happening to me mentally, right? Coming out of that Tony Robbins event, right? And then going under and coming back out, you know, from last year. So the reason why I'm saying this is for, you know, obviously two reasons. One of them, because this is my own psychology, right? This is me pep talking myself, like saying, look, John, you're going through this right now. You're at kind of a stagnation period, but that's okay. Like you have to keep on stretching, keep on going, keep on pushing, even though you feel like you're stagnating because you're going under. But you're gonna come out. You're gonna see that growth. But again, because we can't always be. That's the other thing is, right? You know, I've learned this as I've been doing endurance training, running and training my body to be able to run faster paces at longer distances. Is every run, you cannot run your marathon pace. You can't. You've got to have like maybe one run a week, or every couple of weeks you hit that super run where you're just running at, you know, crazy speed. But most of the time you're training in that lower zone, and that's just how it is. And so, you know, throughout life you're going to have those periods where you're going to grow, but you can't always be pushing the envelope. You can't always be exploding and just hitting new records and hitting new highs all the time. You gotta have these periods, and you gotta time your life around that too. You gotta realize that you're gonna have periods where you're gonna have that kind of growth, and you're gonna be blasting forward and shooting new leaves, and you know, and you're gonna kick it in as hard as you can during those times. You're gonna be working hard and busting ass, but you're also gonna have those times where the growth isn't happening, or you're not seeing it, and you gotta just kind of reel back a little bit, breathe, and try to just float. Try to tread water as much as you can until you get up enough energy and you can make another push and you can break through to the next level. And so, you know, part of it, like I said, is I'm making this video to tell me, but I'm making it to tell you too, because I know that a lot of people get really close to that period of growth. They end up falling short. They put in all the work, they plant all the seeds, they water all the seeds, and then they just can't wait. They can't wait long enough. They can't hang on long enough, and they drop it. They never see the fruit. They never see that actual growth because they get frustrated, because they feel like just because that little phase where you have that initial growth after you have that insight, and then they fall back. They fall back to their old ways, or they fall back even below the line a little bit. They dip below the high water or the low water mark, actually. They get frustrated and they give up. So keep pushing on, keep going forward, recognize the stages that happen in growth, and realize that sometime in the near future, you're gonna come out of that. What did I call it? I called it catharsis. What is catabolis, whatever. Anyway, someday you're gonna come out of it, and new shoots are gonna grow, and you're gonna hit that growth period again, and it's gonna be explosive, and you're gonna make that progress. And then, just like everything, it has phases. You'll stall out, you'll be tired, you'll have to go through that process again, but every time you're gonna reach a new high water mark, and that's the key. If you like this video, if you haven't already, click that subscribe button below. I'll talk to you next time. Take care.